Welcome into the Dad Verb Podcast, where we chat about parenting from the lens of a dad. My name is Andrew, and on this episode, we are going to be chatting about just some funny moments that we've had as dads. It's really easy to kind of dive into the topics of, the difficulties of parenting, the kind of this esoteric world of just like, oh, it's so hard. But no, we're gonna keep it fun. We're gonna keep it light today. Just share some things that have happened to us. Discuss some unpopular parenting opinions, and then we'll highlight just very briefly some changes that's going on with the Miku baby monitor. That's kind of been going on lately, and then we're going to cap it off with our Halloween candy draft. It's a draft that I like to do every year. Done it with my wife. I haven't done it with these two guys yet, so we're going to be chatting about some Halloween candies as Halloween is around the corner. As usual, I am joined by Ben Brown and Andrew Saunders. How you guys doing? And is anyone sick? We like to do the sick check. Ben.
Yeah, we're doing well. We are sick though.
No.
So yeah, we're gonna break the streak here. We made it. I know we made it a couple of episodes. I think maybe like 4 or 5 episodes where nobody was sick.
Mm-hmm.
But my daughter started daycare last week, so we knew it was coming. She beat her brother's record though, so she made it more than 3 days before she got sick. She didn't get sick until this weekend. But yeah, she's got, cough, runny nose, bunch of boogers. And then tonight, we noticed when we were putting our son to bed, even though he was in a great mood, that he felt a little toasty, a little warm. So checked his temperature and he's a little warm. So, he's probably getting whatever she's got, and then it'll make its rounds through the family and we'll all be down for a little bit. But yeah, we're going to reset the clock back to 0 over here.
Oh no,
man, we're good. Knock on wood.
Dude,
we are good. Still healthy at this end.
Andrew's in the middle of a move.
We even moved 1,200 miles, 1,600 miles. Yeah. So.
Oh gosh. Oh man. Well, it sucks that you have to go through that, but it's grateful that you don't have to do it with sick kids, because that's never a good thing. So Andrew if you're watching on YouTube, he's in a conference room, right? Or something. He's always got new backgrounds, room. This guy.
Yeah. It's a large co-working space conference room, so it's
why you're hearing
crazy.
An echo.
Look, it's gonna stabilize. Okay. Even closer.
Oh man.
I'll whisper.
Well, our family, we're doing all right. We're not sick. Thank goodness. And we've been literally trying to quarantine. We didn't go to church. The kids are on fall break from school right now. Luckily, so it just kind of mitigates any sort of risk, because we are going to celebrate our 10-year anniversary with a little bit of a trip to Florida without the kids. So we are just trying really hard to not get sick, because we leave in just a couple days. So we are healthy. Really, knock on wood. Really hoping that we can stay good for the next couple of days. But that's the rundown, guys, and we're just gonna dive right into our first segment here, and just fun stories, fun moments that we've had throughout, maybe this week or just recently. Just our family, we've been traveling quite a bit. Just little things have happened here and there. I'll share, but I guess I'll kick it off to one of you guys. Anything fun? Anything goofy? Kids say the darndest things, because your kids do skew a little bit younger than mine, but I'm curious if anything's been a little fun with your kiddos lately.
My daughter recently discovered that there are things like under the couch. And so now every time she goes into a room, it's under the chair. What's under the chair? What's under the table? What's under the couch? What's under the and we've been getting all kinds of things out from underneath of furniture. And some of them she's big enough to get under, and so she'll actually just crawl away, and we're like, where did she go? Where is she at? And then it's, she decided to crawl underneath grandma's couch. Cool. Let's put the kibosh on that. So anyway, that's been fun. That's one of the most recent updates. Today she what do you call it? today she insists she brought her shoes to Grandpa, and then once Grandpa had her shoes on, she took him to the door because she wanted to go for a walk. And so she like just drug him like, no, Grandpa, you're taking me for a walk now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, and she got on her likey trike and away she went. Like it was.
Dude, you know what's funny? Like,
well, all right.
we
little dictator.
We babysat our nephew, and he was in the same boat. Like he was so used to his mom taking him out for like a morning walk, right? So and when we babysat him, he was very insistent on every morning. He would grab me, a very limited vocabulary, but he would grab me and he goes, help, up, help. So I'd pick him up, and then he would point at the door. He goes, outside. I'm like, okay, all right, I guess we're doing this. And then he would point at the shoes and he goes, shoes. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, sorry. And so I would have to get his shoes and like take him outside and do like a full like walk around. Luckily, I'm already accustomed to doing this because I take my daughter on a walk every single morning, our little jogging stroller. But we loaded up our double Vista stroller, whatever. Take him on a walk. He's so insistent on that. But he was so insistent. It was really cute. It was really fun just how they get set in their ways. But on the topic of shoes, we freaking okay. You guys know, like when you have kids and it just takes forever to like get out the house. You're like, let's go. You know, like you're on top of everybody. You're trying to like wrangle them up. You make sure your kids are dressed, and everyone got their damn water bottles because everyone's like. These kids drink so much water nowadays. Yeah, everyone has to have their water bottles. The diaper bags are all packed. Everyone's like good to go. So we're like out the door and we're on our way out, right? And we drive 15-20 minutes. We get to the place, and it was just a hassle to like get everyone in the car, get everyone buckled, and get going. It just takes so much longer. We finally get to the place, turn around. Colin just doesn't have his damn shoes on. Just barefoot. I'm like, what? The hell happened, man? And on one hand, it's like, okay, I get it. Like you're 4, but I get so mad. I'm like, you should know. And like, because, that is kind of our thing. We help him get his shoes on and get him all Velcroed up and stuff like that. But like, not every time there's this like slight expectation now, even though you're 4, you're like, the routine. He didn't. And he just straight up just like, got in the car with no shoes on. It's just super frustrating. So then you get to this pivotal decision where you're like, all right, we're 15 minutes away from the house. Do we turn around and get him going, or does he just sit in a stroller that we weren't planning on? He's just gonna sit there the whole time because he's not walking around barefoot. So there's always that like, what the hell did we do? And we didn't turn around. He just sat in a stroller. But yeah, it's that's kids for you. It's kids.
My buddy had a kid who never went anywhere with the shoes. I mean, and he showed up at an ice rink on skate night in just his socks. And he was 8, 7 at the time. Just socks running around. And I went, where are your shoes? And he goes, at home. I go, okay. You think I'm going to let you go ice skating if you don't have shoes?
Yeah.
What? No.
Blisters.
Right. And then he lost it because he didn't get to go ice skating. But here's the best part. That kid never forgets his shoes. That lesson is burned into his soul now. He does not leave the house without shoes because he is not missing out on whatever the fun activity is because he didn't have his shoes.
I wish that they would learn their lesson after that, but mine doesn't. Mine just doesn't. So, gosh.
He had to sit on the bleachers and watch all of his siblings ice skate. He was upset for like an hour. It was traumatic.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
I gotta say, of all the things that have happened to us, I don't think we've ever left the house without shoes. I think that's one of the things like my kid's always been pretty good about. It might take us a while to get out the door, just because he's got like these little Vans high tops and he wants to do them himself. He has to do all the Velcro by himself. He will not let anyone else touch it. But most of the time we wear Crocs. So he's like very particular, and it's so easy. He's got ever since he started wearing shoes, we put him in, we got him like this little bench with a little basket that goes underneath it. And so he knows like his shoes go in the basket and all of his stuff is there. So when we're getting ready in the morning, like he goes to his shoe basket, he gets his shoes, he sits down and puts them on. Now it's usually a struggle to get to that point where like you can distract him enough or get him to focus enough to go put his shoes on. But luckily we haven't left without him yet. We've left without a couple other things, but mostly it's, clothes and shoes. I think we're pretty good with so far.
Nice. No, yeah, the shoe thing has all right. It has happened. I would say a couple times. But it's like the other things that. Okay, this is another thing. So like my son, he really likes like they enjoy like dressing up like a lot. Like Halloween costumes are actually a really good toy, right? It's not just a one-off thing because they just play dress up a lot, right? Buzz Lightyear, Spider-Man, all that stuff. And my middle, I'm talking specifically about Colin, my middle child, he's very much like me because when I was a kid, like I was Batman, right? I was all over the house. I was just like, in my, like Henry doesn't like play like that. Henry is very just like logical and just like, I'm playing football and we're, his interests aren't so much more imaginative. It's more, I guess it's all sports. The kid is all sports. Colin is very much more like me. But anyway, he has been wearing these Spider-Man gloves that came with his outfit, and he doesn't take them off. Like he is always, and he's like sucks on his fingers a lot, so the gloves are so damn wet. It's disgusting. And he can't like he can't not have them at all times. And God forbid he loses it or he forgets it before we get out the door. He is like, he just breaks, he just like loses his mind. He loses his damn mind. And he is different because you can't like talk him off that point. Yeah, it has totally ended. And you cannot like calm him down. You cannot, like, oh, it's okay, buddy, we're gonna get this, or here, you want a piece of gum? You like, you go down, you like reduce yourself to just straight up bribery, and it doesn't work. And so like he needs to have his Spider-Man gloves, and there's two of them. One smaller, one's bigger. One is the Stark suit, and the other one's a traditional Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire suit. And he loves them both. One of them has to be on one of his hands at all times. And like just like today, right? I was running errands. We went to like Walmart, went to Lowe's. Like, can I wear it inside? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. I'm not going to fight you. Just walking around with the Spider-Man suit, and he feels amazing. It's just the kids that things do, man.
It sounds like you're on your way to the Spirit Halloween store to get 4 more Spider-Man suits just so you have backup gloves. That's
money well spent. Money well spent. Honestly, you gotta go on Amazon and just buy more.
Like there's just some in every glove box. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if it gets you out the door and helps you survive the day, then just buy it. It's
That's how it is. Yeah, seriously,
okay.
Seriously. But yeah, I just tip for dads out there: if you're looking for new toys, you don't feel like wasting money, get freaking Halloween costumes here. They're great. They're great. Pikachu, Spider-Man, Iron Man, all that stuff.
Uh-oh, there's a lull. Somebody say something before.
No, sorry. For any listeners right now, there are going to be awkward pauses because I am on a serious lag, and it's been an ongoing issue for like 3-4 episodes now, I think. There's like just a massive lag here. And I'm 100% certain it's on my end because we can see like this upload progress of the episode uploading to the cloud as we record, and it is so damn slow right now. It's usually at 99% uploading. It's at 60% is what I'm reading on mine. So for the listeners out there and for the watchers on YouTube, I apologize. We even shifted to this low data mode as we're recording. And we can't even see each other right now because we're doing our best to not just choke out the bandwidth with like video feeds. So apologies for any sort of delays, any lulls here. But if you guys have any fun moments, memories for the week, I have a bunch. I'm not gonna drown the whole episode with it. We can move on. If you guys have anything, go ahead and drop in.
Yeah, yeah, so it's not something that's happened this week. Like obviously he's our kid. We think he's hilarious. Like, but it's sometimes the just the stuff he does and says. So we went through this phase when we were potty training him. Where like if you guys have potty trained a kid or if you're working on it out there, parents, half the time you end up just your kid's either naked or bottomless or whatever. You just let them run around so they can just kind of figure things out, right? And so my kid, I don't think he ever really kind of grew out of that. So now he's 3. He has not grown out of this phase that he just really enjoys being naked, right? This kid, he just likes to run around without his pants on all the time. Like half the time he'll be dressed and then I'll turn my back for 2 seconds and he'll be like watching a movie or something. And I turn back around. I'm like, buddy, where are your pants?
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't feel like wearing pants anymore.
Yeah.
He's like, I just didn't feel like wearing pants anymore. And I was like, you know what? Like, I just got to respect it. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine. We're at home. Like, he doesn't do it in public. He's not doing it in like, strange places where it's like going to be a concern. It's always at home. Well, the problem is though, is that
you have guests? I don't know.
Well, no, like little boys are obsessed with their body parts, right? They're always obsessed with their penises every time they discover it.
Yeah.
So he has this like tendency to run around and like put it on things. So like
he's marking his territory.
Yeah. So he's like not peeing on anything, but he'll just run around almost like it's like a weapon. And like put it on the couch, put it on like the on the step stool, like put it on like he'll run up behind you when you're like standing there cooking dinner and you'll feel like this little person next to you and you're like, what are you doing? He goes, I just put my penis on your leg. And I'm like, dude, we can't do this. Like, all right, we gotta start learning boundaries now. But like, how do you explain to your 3-year-old that like, hey man,
you
can't run around like putting our genitals
assaulting
on things.
the
Like
furniture?
It's not okay.
Oh, dude,
but he thinks it's hilarious. He thinks it's so funny. But it's one of those moments where like I started like yelling across the house, like Lincoln, don't put your penis on that. And I stopped myself for a second going, there's not a single parenting book that I ever read that said I was going to run into this situation. Like, how did I get here and why am I having to say this?
Right.
Yep.
So it's an ongoing struggle in our home that continues to be a bit of an issue.
I think it's actually
I'm glad
healthy.
your son has discovered clothing free at such a young age. Right.
I think that like it's actually healthy though. Like because it's really natural for us as parents to just be like, yeah, hey, get your pants on or something like that. But like, I read like some sort of research. It's like, no, that's like part of like growth and development. Like it's totally fine. It's totally normal. Yeah. But you bring like, that kind of reminded me of this when Henry was being potty trained, we would like try to teach him to shake, shake penis, get the last dribble, the last dab, it's always going to hit the pants, but it is what it is, last dab, shake it off. So there's one day where he's
shake it twice.
So he's sitting there and he's trying to shake it, but he's not like shaking it so much. He's more like taking his index finger and just gently dabbing the top of his penis instead of like shaking. And I'm just quietly like watching him and he goes, I'm doing it just like mommy does for pizza. Which is because he watches his mom like dab grease off of the pizza.
Dab the grease off pizza.
Yeah, so that's what he associates.
Oh man,
things that kids equate to like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense. Like they can draw a parallel between somebody dabbing pizza and like, oh, I got to get this dribble off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad I have daughters. This conversation is making me go, thank God I have 2 daughters. Like,
oh man. Well,
although I'm gonna come back to this if I have a son, I'm sure.
Oh, you will.
Yeah,
you
will,
will.
Man, but they just they do all kinds of weird stuff.
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
Oh.
But so
running around the house tagging stuff. Mine.
If we're down, we can move on to the next segment here, and it's going to be talking about some unpopular parenting opinions. Now, by no means do we want to start getting, because this could go down south really quick. But what we want to just try to do is to just highlight some things here that might not be so mainstream. And what I'll say is, having been a creator in this space, in the parenting niche, dad, whatever space for like 5-6 years, or I don't know, something like that. I've heard it all. I've heard parents getting mad at me for like the dumbest stuff, for like loving my son and being like energetic and be like, geez, I'd kill myself if he was my dad. I'm like, man, you must have had a tough time growing up. So like, I've heard everything, but I would say like one of the more like triggering topics in the whole space is typically around like feeding. Feeding is such a triggering topic, whether it's breastfeeding or formula or whatever. And I mean, we just had like comments on this. Maybe Andrew can like rehash some of the comments that we just had like yesterday on Discord about this. But I guess unpopular opinion. While there is a ton of research that would say that technically, yes, breastfeeding is like better. I know a significant amount of families that have had issues with it, and I think as long as the baby's fed, the baby's being fed. I think that is perfectly fine. And mainstream social media would have you believe that you are a bad parent, that you are a lazy parent for opting for formula. And I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'm just going to take the stance. Like, I don't care if you're hardcore breastfeeding or not. I just straight up don't agree with that. Cause I've seen it with myself, parents struggling with that aspect. And they either need to supplement with formula or use it 100%. And I think that is okay, because I've seen a lot of kind of anti, or I guess you can call it lactivism, where they would definitely just put those parents into the ground. Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's my take on it,
Words
guys.
I
What about
didn't
you
need
guys?
in my vocabulary right there.
Hmm.
No, I mean, we don't breastfeed. We had issues with it, so
There we go.
my kids are both 100% formula fed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
There you go.
tough. You don't like it? I'll put my kid up against yours any day of the week. Let's go. Like, I'm ready for that one. So,
well, that's the thing, is like, really realistically and developmentally, is it impacting your child? I mean,
Yeah.
there may
Is it
be
gonna stop them
some
from getting to
double
Harvard?
blind controlled study out there that says like, but most of my kids have been both breastfed and formula fed. So it was either breastfed for the first, several months, and then supplemented with formula, and then eventually switched to all formula. My daughter was switched earlier than my son, but like, my son, I mean, he was formula fed for quite a while as we transitioned him. And he's perfectly fine. I mean, he's whip smart. He's developing right along all the growth curves that he should be. Developmentally, vocabulary wise, like, he is better than the majority of the kids in his classes, and the majority of 3-year-olds that I know, or that I experienced, and he's been perfectly okay. I mean, I think you have to understand like what works for your family. And everybody has an opinion, and they think that, well, what works for my family must be best for everyone else's family too.
Exactly.
And it's just not the case ever, right? Like, kids are so unique, families are so unique, experiences are so unique, and everybody's bodies are so unique that some aren't going to do what you think they should do. Some people just don't want to do it, and that's okay too, because they still want to have kids. You just got to make whatever works for you work.
That's
I like
so
how Ben
freaking
is all
true.
politically correct, and I'm like, let's fight. I'll go. My kid's better than yours. Like,
Well, listen, my main goal
Like-
with this, my main goal is just like, listen, if you're, I just want my son to be, or my kids, I want them to be just good people who make the right choices, that are smart, educated, and they don't cook meth in basements. Don't cook meth. Don't do fentanyl.
Don't cook
think-
meth.
and that's
don't
the
rob
difference.
people.
It's formula
All I
versus
want.
breastfed. It determines if you're going to cook
exactly.
meth in a basement. That's the measure we're going with now.
I mean, is formula
He's not
versus
wrong.
breastfed, like, is formula versus breastfed like gonna stop you getting into like Harvard Law or Yale Law? Like, I'd love to like have like
Right.
a long term, like, poll all the kids who are currently in like, I don't know, top tier at MIT. What percentage of you were breastfed versus what percentage of you are formula fed? And just like see, like, is there an impact? Like, I would love to see that study, but I can almost guarantee you'd be like, there's no impact. I don't know.
I can't say.
I
can't
honestly
say I've
bet
ever.
you that most of it is revolving around immunology stuff in the first 2 to 3 years, is in terms of differences, right? Because in a very scientific way, chemically, we can basically reproduce breast milk. What we can't do is reproduce the antibodies that you get out of breast milk, right? And I think that's the major deltas that they're talking about, is if your kid is more likely to get sick breastfed kids are less likely to get sick, right? Formula kids are more likely to get, right? I think that's the major difference they're talking about from everything I've read, because there is nothing that I'm aware of nutritionally that is a delta that is statistically significant, right? And
and
again, it bothered
I
me. So I read a lot about it because I was thinking about buying breast milk, and it was like, okay, I need to dig into this pretty deeply before I chuck out hundreds of dollars for other people's breast milk. And at the end of the day, I'm like, if they get sick, I'll take them to the doctor.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
sorry.
That's
got me on
hey,
my
by the way,
soapbox.
just real quick, am I on a lag right now? Can you guys hear me well on time?
Couple
I
seconds.
think so.
Probably. Yeah,
maybe
I'd
a
say
few
it's about
seconds,
2
but I
seconds.
think it's all right.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
it's not terrible.
So I mean, we all kind of got on a soapbox about feeding. I probably think that if there's probably another unpopular opinion, it'd probably revolve around sleep. I won't get on that soapbox right now, but I'll hand it off to you guys. If there's anything that's glaring at you, go ahead and share.
Mine is, I will parent your kids if you are not. That is my unpopular
great
opinion.
one.
I don't care
That's
who
a
you
great
are.
one.
I don't care where you are. If you are in public and you are not parenting your child, I don't care if they're 6 months or 18 years old, I will parent them. And if you have a problem with that, we'll discuss you not parenting your child in public. And we'll do it. And we'll do it loudly, because I am not a small, tolerant man. And
oh man,
it's an unpopular opinion. Some people are very much like, no, it's my child. You don't have the right to tell them. And it's like, there are common decency rules. Until your child is 18, they need to follow them. And as a parent, it's your responsibility to enforce them.
I would say that I would kind of agree there. Because I do agree that parenting used to be a village, right? Like we all had each other's back,
right?
And somewhere along the way, that totally got lost. And now everyone is easily offended, and there's walking on eggshells, and stepping on people's toes, and there's political correctness and all this stuff. And there's what you can or can't do. And I feel like because of this, we're actually raising not good humans as a result of it. I fully agree that the whole parenting as a village thing should still be a thing. And helping when needed. I think that all kind of comes down to context though, and tonality, right? I'm probably more totally. Like, we're gonna do it loud. I'm more of a gentle tap kind of a guy. I'm like, hey, your kid sucks. Let's fix this. So no, but you know what I'm saying?
No. I'm not that terrible. I'm thinking about things like, for me, it's coming up at sporting events, right? Little kids running around a hockey rink or a football field, and their parents aren't paying attention to them, and it's like, hey, stop running, right? And they'll kind of look at you, and most of the time, the dad will look at you and be like, all right, good call. My kid shouldn't be blasting down. And usually, it's the moms who are like, you can't yell at my kid. And it's like, then they need to be sitting with you, because it's inappropriate for them to be running down the concourse.
Your job is to keep your kids safe. Like, right. That's the thing we talk about with my 3-year-old all the time, is if he gets really upset, I ask him, I said, Lincoln, what's my number one job? And he'll say right back to me, to keep me safe. Okay. So if I'm at that point, I am not doing my job as a parent, right? If my kids are just, screaming, running around, being crazy, especially in an environment where either I don't know all the people or there's the potential for danger, right? i.e. professional sporting events. I should probably be events. I should be paying attention. That is my job as a parent, and part of that is safety, but part of that safety is understanding mannerisms or manners in public.
Right.
I agree with you. I think it's a big deal, and especially, kids are, and I'm a big proponent of this, but like, if your kid is doing stuff that is sort of socially unacceptable, or if they want to be, they want to be pushy, they want to, bust through the other kids or whatnot, I have no qualms telling a 3-year-old they need to wait their turn. Like, none at all. Like, if you walk
at the playground,
throwing rocks, doing anything super dangerous. You know what? If your parents aren't going to pay attention, then I will pay attention. And if they have an issue with it, then we can have a conversation, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But pay attention to your kid. That's your job, and you're not doing it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, most of this stuff is little things. I'm not correcting people like, your kid needs to use a fork. Like, that's not where I'm falling out here, right? It's a lot more like, hey, stop pushing my kid at the park.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, you did it again. Go to your mother, right? And they get people get very upset when you're like scolding their kids for abusing other children
for abusive behavior.
yeah, and
exactly.
they're just sitting there on Snapchat like, I got another reel. Like, hey,
and I think that
eyes
their
up,
main
kid-
anger
kid
is
in the
sometimes their anger doesn't even come from like you like stepping in to you know
No,
right the wrong. It's more just like calling them out on them not like actually being present,
right.
you know, and
Mhm.
and that's I feel like
they're upset they got caught.
comes from. Yeah, that stop looking down at your damn phone.
Yeah,
and exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Ben, what you got, man?
Ben, what's your unpopular opinion? Yeah.
Mine is that I don't think screen time is the devil.
No.
And I think this is like just the reality of our lives, right? Like there are so many things that I do.
I'm sorry, that 2-second delay on
I
Andrew
know
was
it's so
great.
bad.
Delay,
These damn
yes,
delays,
perfect.
I have a video
Yes.
on this very topic coming out. I'm partnering with Logitech on about these headphones, but I like the whole concept of the video is like screen time is not evil. Like if you use it in moderation and and they're in the right places, they're not just on Minecraft and like dirty YouTube the whole time. It can actually be a good beneficial thing, and it's in every parent's arsenal anyway, even though you don't want to acknowledge it. I'm sorry. I'm on a soapbox. Ben, it's your topic.
I get it.
My bad.
So 100%. So like, you know, I think it's all in context too, right? So, you know, my son loves to watch movies, and there are so many things that he has actually learned while watching movies. Now, are we careful about the types of movies he watches? Yes. If there is a movie that's questionable, either we watch it first or we watch it with him and decide whether or not that's something we're going to continue to watch, right? Is that something we want to continue to expose him to? But there's so many programs out there that a kid can be exposed to that helps. Like there's all the, you know, the low stimulation shows that help them learn to manage their emotions. Like one of his favorite shows right now is Stillwater. If you guys haven't seen that on Apple TV, they have like a panda neighbor, and he's from China, and he actually helps them like meditate and manage their emotions and work through conflict, and teaches them teaches them emotional management through like parables basically. But it's a great show for a kid his age, that and like Tumbleleaf and some of these other ones that are, you know, more educationally based. But my kid can also sit there and watch Star Wars and name every single character and what scenario they're in at that point and ask me questions. So like we can use it as a tool to allow us to relate and interact with each other versus putting him in front of it. And, you know, sometimes we do put him in front of it and say, hey, buddy, you want to watch a movie? Because like I've got to cook or clean or do something. And I just need him to be able to do something that doesn't involve me directly. And, you know, sometimes it's used as that. Do I feel bad about it? Absolutely. Am I still careful about what he's watching? Absolutely. Do we use it as a tool to bring our family together? Absolutely. It can be all of those things without being, you know, the babysitter, right?
Yeah. It's screen time is vilified.
On this, right. On the screen time topic, there's a wonderful online preschool. It's available in a lot of states. It's called Upstart. It's by Waterford. And if you go to, I think it's waterfordupstart.org, that's free preschool from, it's either 2, 3, and 4 or just 3 and 4, but it's reading and math 15 minutes a day. They've been doing it for over a decade. And basically your kid sits in front of a computer for a half an hour a day and learns via preschool. And according to their statistics, their kids outperform other third graders in a longevity test. Dude. And so if you haven't heard of it, look it up. Most states subsidize it in some way. Upstart. I'll put the link in our podcast thing, but it's online preschool. It's considered screen time, but they have all of the relevant statistics to basically say your kid does this 5 out of 7 days a week for a half an hour, 15 minutes reading, 15 minutes math. They will learn to count to 100. They'll learn the ABCs. They'll learn their name, and they are ahead of the curve when they hit kindergarten.
You know, that's actually really cool.
It's
that
an
you
amazing
mentioned
program.
We used ABC Mouse for a minute with Henry, and it was okay. Like there was a good learning element there for sure, and we enjoyed it. There are a couple like mini games that he got like more obsessed with, and it became less like learning and more just like taking care of the hamsters. So we kind of like stopped that, and And instead, we use this thing called Osmo, which is a really cool interactive app where they're like these shapes. And there's like different shapes or like characters with different like outfits or whatever. And you have like this attachment that orients the camera downward so it can see what's on like the tabletop in front of them, and it basically guides them through like this. It's a walkthrough of like how to assemble shapes and how to manipulate different things to make like fish and mermaids and and just like different creatures and stuff with a semicircle,
Cool.
with a line, with a square. And it's a really cool interactive learning app, and he absolutely loved it. So if I was to recommend an app, Osmo was really cool. A little bit pricey because it's more than just like an app, because there's there's like pieces and all that stuff that you kind of like buy into.
It's like that white piece of tower, right? That sits on like an iPad.
I don't know. Yeah. That's exactly
like 12
it. That's
inches
exactly
tall.
It.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly it. So yeah, we use it with a Fire tablet, and would recommend. So that I kind of like the topic of the app. I mean, hey Ben, have you tried any apps specifically? You discussed shows, but are there any apps that you've kind of like dabbled in at all?
Not particularly. I mean, we've done a couple of developmental apps, most of them through like PBS Kids, some of the kind of public broadcasting stuff that we've liked. A lot of those are just like puzzle based or like learning games. There are a lot of different options in their app, so we did really like that. And it was nice because we could tie it into things that he was already watching, like Sesame Street. So there were like Sesame Street based games that he could enjoy and kind of see the characters on TV and then see them on his iPad. And so it kind of tied the whole thing together. But a lot of that was like, language learning and basic mathematics and, colors and shapes and all that stuff, which we think really, helped with his overall development.
That's really cool, man. Well, on the topic
so all
of
things
tech,
being equal, we all agree screen time not bad.
I would say that we're kind of all there, and maybe it's because we're all dads. I don't know if that has an impact on it, but that's our take, and I feel like we defended it there. But on the topic of tech, we just quickly want to just talk about Miku real quick, which is a very popular yet expensive baby monitor that's just getting even more expensive. This, just because I've reviewed this thing so many times, I've talked about it a lot, I just quickly want to address it here on the podcast. But basically, Miku recently filed for bankruptcy, and just last Friday, they finally came out with like this official, like, okay, we are done, like where we've sold all of our assets, everything, to Innovative Health Monitoring LLC, and they attached like this PDF that had the full breakdown of exactly what happened. And it's basically what I talk about in a recent video, but just a quick summation of it. They've been going through financial troubles for quite some time, but then they rolled out this firmware update. They basically bricked a ton of units. The bankruptcy notice that they said that they sent out was, I think, upwards of 20,000 units, and mine was one of the 20,000. So basically, they had like this program that they had to replace all of the units because that was like the only way to make it right. Unfortunately, that like was their entire inventory. So they literally could not sell anymore. That was a major part in their financial struggles, and ultimately they had to file for bankruptcy. The way that the only solution that they could really think of to get out of it, though, was to create a subscription. The big reason why a lot of parents didn't want to get any other monitor, they went with Miku, is because there's a high upfront cost, sure, but there's no subscriptions for the analytics, the data, any of that, right? And that was a big draw for them. Unfortunately, they now went to a subscription model. A lot of parents were mad, heated about it. They're like, some of them vented their frustration at me. I'm like, I'm just the messenger. They're like, why are you so nice about them? I'm like, listen, I don't have to be, I'm not nice, I'm not mean. I'm just like, I'm unbiased. I'm just stating facts. I can be critical without being like mean or aggressive. And that's what I was. I was stating facts. And the fact of the matter is they are moving to a subscription model. It's a subscription model. Is going to cost like $10 a month to access everything that makes Miku. All of the sleep analytics, all of the data, the lullabies, everything. Basically, for $400, all you get is just a local viewing. That's it, which sucks, right? So basically, it's I would say don't buy.
It's not even
Miku.
remote viewing; it's just local viewing.
Yeah.
I'm very upset with
It-
my 2 Mikus at this point.
So I mean, and that's what I want to talk about, right? So being Miku users, just quickly, are you guys pivoting, or you just shell out the $10 a month? I mean, because I've reviewed a bunch. I'm on Nana. I've been on Nana because our unit got bricked and I didn't want to send it back. But I mean, where are you guys at on this whole thing? Because you're actual Miku users.
I'm gonna set it up in the new location or new house, and I will use the local access, but I'm done with them. Like, I won't buy a third one if we get another kid, and I won't
gotcha.
redeploy them. My older daughter is probably not getting hers set back up, because I mean, it gets even worse. The gist of the email that came out was they're selling all your data now, and that's not okay. Like, they're using it to marketing partners. I get it. They're doing what they have to do, but everybody who has
It's
a Miku
terrible.
and had an account needs to go check in real quick and opt out of all their marketing stuff, because they are selling your age of your kid. They're selling a lot. When I read through that list, I was like, nope, this is not acceptable. Opt me out now.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that it happened to them, but it's not a brand I'm going to be happy about going forward. Let's put it that way. Sorry. Negative Nancying this one.
No. I mean, this one's really brutal. Because I mean, like you said, Andrew, I think every parent that is like on their way to having a kid or is asking for monitor recommendations, like the Miku was my recommendation to them as well. We loved it. We've had the original one. We have the Miku Pro, and we're running into the same issue, right? So we have our daughter, who we loved having the comfort of the Miku monitoring her breathing, especially, like I mentioned, she's sick, right? She's got an upper respiratory thing going on. It's really comforting to see that live breathing pattern on the screen and kind of know that things are, they're okay, or I'll get an alert if they're not. The $10 a month thing, it sucks. I think the idea that, we paid $400+ for this unit and then now have to spend additional money to access all of the things that we were sold without any sort of transition, I think is the biggest challenge. Like, if they had said, we'll give you a year of all this stuff for free,
I'd be perfectly
and then
happy
we'll
to
kind of
pay their
figure it out.
$10.
I would be okay with that. But the fact that they were just like, we screwed this up, we had to file for bankruptcy, now you guys are left holding the bag if you want to use any of the things that you bought this for. It's like you buy a house and somebody walks in your home after you close and rips the bathroom out. Like I would be very upset if someone tore the bathroom and the kitchen out of my house after I purchased it. That's effectively what's happened with the Miku, is like, you gave me this thing that I paid all this money for, and now you've ripped the guts out of it and said, no, you can't have these unless you pay us more money. So, not anything I'm going to recommend moving forward. I think it's left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And, for us, we're looking for alternatives. So I think Nano Baby has the Aura, which is also, I believe in reading about it, is a touchless breathing monitoring. So I'll be really interested to see if I can get one of those for testing and see if it stacks up. There's the Cubo AI. There's all kinds of options out there that are much cheaper on the front end. So the subscription fee stings a little bit less, and you get more features even without a subscription fee. So,
Ben, you just reminded me that my credit card that I bought it on has buyer protection. I'm curious if the company going broke and the features of a device being shut off are covered, and I can get them to go back and be like, no, here's this money back.
Yeah,
I will look into that and see if I can get a refund from my credit card company, because I think, so I bought them with an American Express, I'm not going to lie. I think I have 500 days. And I don't think
Amex
my
Gold or
oldest
Amex
daughter
Platinum?
is Platinum. Sorry, that was very
damn you.
Platinum.
Still on Gold.
Flex.
I'll get there.
You got to flex.
All you got to do is upgrade. It's not that big a deal. I can invite you if you'd like. You want a referral?
Trying to get some points off of me, huh?
Yes,
gladly.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. The point is, I will see if I can get I'll see if that falls through. I wonder if bankruptcy falls in that category. Anyway, sorry.
Be worth a shot.
Yep.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. Well, guys,
How
so
mad would Miku be if everybody all of a sudden rebate this? Thank you.
bro, I feel like Miku hates me right now because I was an affiliate partner. I wasn't really making money off of them anyway. But I feel like I had a good relationship. But dude, what they did to just parents and just the spring of the chart, the selling of the data, it's just so messed up, man. So our stance,
I honestly don't think it was the Miku guys. I think it was we have to sell. And the people who bought them are just evil.
This
right?
is what we
it's
want.
actually that.
Yeah.
It's actually that. Yeah. It's and that's the thing. We that is one clarification. It's not so because Miku is no longer like Miku, if you think about it. It's all this IHM, this innovative health monitoring. And people have tried to do some dirty digging for me. Dude, I don't even know who these people are. They don't even know a website. These guys are just, I don't know. They sound
I found their
pretty
website
bad.
and it's basically blank.
Yeah.
There's really no information about this company. It's an LLC. I mean, if you guys know anything about LLCs, you can set them up in any state for,
$70
$200 in a few minutes. Yeah.
Right.
It's not difficult to do. And so I'll be interested to see as this goes on, who the owning or controlling company actually is.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think Johan was the CEO. There's a bunch of guys I think as business owners from their side, they had to do what they had to do. I don't think a lot of the predatory selling the all that stuff. I don't think that was I don't think that was them as much as it was kind of the new buyers. I don't know, the guys kind of overtaking it and moving forward with it. It's sad. It really was a good product. It was a great technology. Just couldn't stand up to demands. And I mean, they're still around, but I feel that it wouldn't be surprised if they, a few years from now, they just weren't a thing. So sad.
It's sad that one mistake cost them everything.
Literally.
Yeah,
I think they were really struggling to find financing and because they were operating in debt, like a lot of companies, but I think, and they were trying to find investors, backers and stuff like that. But that firmware update that bricked all the units was, that sucked. So,
I think the hardest thing is because it was so good. It was such a good, I feel like head and shoulders above everything else because you didn't need all these accessories. It's just buy the monitor. Yes, it's more money, but it just works. It does its thing. We never really had any connectivity issues like a lot of people did. But the premise of it was so good. And then to see it just fall apart and implode like this is really, it's sad, and it's sad for parents everywhere, I think.
Yeah, I need to fully do an update on the course.
I think if they had sent out hey, we're struggling financially. We love this product, but we need you guys to help us keep it alive.
Some sort of Kickstarter type
a lot of
thing.
Parents would have been even a, hey, if we do a $4.99 subscription just to keep our doors open and keep this thing going, I probably would have been yes, I will, and I'll even pay you a year in advance, right? And I feel like a lot of people who bought it would have gone, oh yeah, okay, we want this thing to keep going, and they kind of tried to bury it, if that makes any sense. It wasn't obvious to a consumer, I guess. Anyway, we should probably move on, otherwise we're going to be lost in Miku world.
Well, so just for time, originally we were going to do a fun Halloween candy draft. I think what we're going to do is just hold off on that and save it to next episode as we're a little bit closer to Halloween, because we kind of want to try to keep these things around, a little bit closer to 45 minutes and stuff like that. But I just want to wrap things up here and say that if you are a course member, and you get to the part of the baby monitor section, don't buy the Miku, because right now that actually is the top recommended monitor in the course. That's obviously dropping down. So don't do that. If you're not part of the course, we have a course for new and expectant dads up to the first year of fatherhood. So go ahead and check that out. You can check out dadverb.com for that. And there's a 10% discount that you can get by using, I think, code NEWDADSQUAD. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Dad Verb Podcast. Big shout out to our sponsors, Nobody, or Miku. Big shout out to Miku. No, I'm playing.
Sponsor's gone bankrupt.
Wow.
If you guys want, you can join the Dad Verb Discord community. It's going to be linked in the show notes. And thank you for all the dads out there who continue to listen and I'm sorry, support this. I'm buzzed. Continue to support this podcast. It really is cool. We had guys, if you check your emails, we had a really cool comment come in about a suggestion for dads who work off hours, that not a standard 9 to 5, what that looks like. So that could actually be a really good episode for us to check out. Definitely go check out your emails. Hey, big thanks to Andrew and Ben for joining in these late evenings. And before we sign off, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications on YouTube, right? That's going to be the Dad Verb Podcast, the Dad Verb YouTube channel, Dad Verb Podcast YouTube channel that's growing every day. Until next time, keep dadding like a pro. We're going to see you next episode of the Dad Verb Podcast. Good night.